What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Rookie Numbers. Dropping in today, giving it a little preview of tonight's game of Eagles versus Packers and a review of last night's NFL kickoff game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. And it was a barn burner as expected. Both quarterbacks came into this game. It's a rematch of last year's AFC Championship. Came down to literally inches. As time expired, Lamar Jackson found the unlikely hero, Isaiah Likely, in the back of the end zone, but he was just an inch out of bounds. That would have made it a tie ball game, and it looked like the Ravens might have even thought to go for two after that touchdown and try to get the win. But Chiefs were able to hold them off 27-20, and they start off the season with the first win of the year. So just want to go through a few numbers of that game. I just want to break down a little bit of what I saw from both offenses and both defenses. I thought both quarterbacks played really well. Lamar Jackson was 26 of 41, 273 yards, and a touchdown pass. He had a really big touchdown pass to Isaiah Likely in the second half, and had a great day on the ground as well. 16 carries, 122 yards. They really got back to who they were, which is really what kind of shot them in the foot in the AFC Championship game. They did not run the ball at all in the AFC Championship game against Kansas City. So coming into this game, you could tell there was much more of a different approach. Lamar Jackson, 16 carries on the ground. Derrick Henry, 13 carries on the ground. He reached the end zone on a 5-yard score in the first quarter that gave the Ravens an early lead. Zay Flowers got a couple of handoffs out of the backfield, and Justice Hill. So Ravens looked good most of this game. Isaiah Likely was really the unsung hero of this game for the Ravens. He caught 9 balls, 111 yards, and a touchdown, and was great in the run game. And there was a play in the first quarter on a fake handoff where Lamar bounced it off to the left side, and Isaiah Likely shot up the field to reach a block downfield that shot Lamar about 10 yards down the field for a first down. He, in my opinion, was the player of the game in this game. Even though they did not come out on top, he put on a great showing. Another thing that really stood out to me was the way Lamar Jackson ran the ball. He was really putting his head down a lot. There was even a play in the first half where he was coming around the outside, and he easily could have gone out of bounds, but he put his shoulder down right to the linebacker. We saw that a few times throughout the game. Now, I would guess it was because of the stage that he was on that he was playing like that. He really, he's vocalized that the Chiefs are the kryptonite to the Baltimore Ravens. So I don't know if this, the way he played tonight would be the way he would play the rest of the year, and I would certainly hope not, because I just don't think it's sustainable. He's also mentioned that he's deliberately lost a bunch of weight this year so he could be a little more agile. So it really shocked me to see the way he was playing the game. And I hope he's a little bit more careful as the season goes, because I just don't think it's sustainable for a quarterback at his size doing that 16 more times this season. Patrick Mahomes also had a great game. 20 of 28, 291 yards, had a 35-yard touchdown pass to rookie Xavier Worthy in the second half to give them a 10-point lead. Did have one bad ball to where he threw in the middle of the field to, and the only player in that area was Ravens linebacker Roquan Smith. And he was able to make a play on the ball and get the interception for his team. The other 2 touchdowns on offense for Kansas City went to Xavier Worthy. Again, he had 1 attempt for 21 yards and 1 touchdown. First time he's ever touched the ball as an NFL player. Takes it right into the end zone. So that was really exciting to see. We know that they've really been working hard to replace the speedy Tyreek Hill ever since he's been traded to the Miami Dolphins, and it looks like they may have found that in Xavier Worthy, because he really showed off a lot of acceleration throughout the game. Isaiah Pacheco, 15 carries, 45 yards, and a touchdown. He ran like, typical mean Isaiah Pacheco. And the Kansas City defense looks like it's going to be a force to be reckoned with again. Chris Jones with a forced fumble and a fumble recovery for his defense. And also a really good showing for Leo Chenal, who got a lot of snaps on defense last night. Made a lot of great tackles in the backfield, really good on run defense, even made a couple of big plays in coverage. So kind of the unsung hero for the Chiefs defense, just like Isaiah Likely was for the Ravens offense. Now the question is for these two teams is where do they go from here as the season progresses, starting with the Ravens. There's a lot of kinks to be worked out on the offensive line. A lot of pressure came through the center and the guards by Chris Jones. Both guard positions were replaced over the offseason. They did struggle throughout the game, got a little bit better in the second half, but that's definitely going to be something that the team is going to have to make a focal point if they want to be successful in the run game and even the pass game moving forward. The other big thing is going to be getting Derrick Henry more involved. I know that they did a much better job running the ball than they did a few months ago in the playoff game. And they had Lamar Jackson carry the ball 16 times on designed runs, which works because it's Lamar Jackson. But when you have Derrick Henry, you really don't need to be putting your quarterback into positions to take that many hits. Lamar Jackson had 16 carries. Derrick Henry had 13. He went 13 for 46 and a touchdown. They also tried to get Zay Flowers involved in the run game as well. He ended up catching 6 balls for only 37 yards. So I think getting Derrick Henry more involved in the run game is going to really have to be a focal point for this team moving forward. A positive that the Ravens can take from this game, that's a really big one, is how good their secondary is. They have so much depth. The first-round pick, Nate Wiggins, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, and Brandon Stevens, although they did give up almost 300 yards passing, really did a good job of stepping up when they needed to, specifically in the red zone. Held the Chiefs to 2 field goals inside the red zone, and almost held them at a goal line stand at the one where Isaiah Pacheco eventually scored on a 1-yard touchdown. As far as the Chiefs go, I think they have a lot to be excited about, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Xavier Worthy showed off his speed, like I said, carrying it right to the end zone on his very first carry as an NFL player. Rashee Rice, although he is still, there's still that lingering possible suspension that could come into play later this season due to some legal issues. He showed out last night. 7 catches, 103 yards, and most of the passes caught were on quick slants. He showed off a lot of his speed as well and showed that his rookie year was no fluke. A couple of mistakes on the offensive side of the ball also last night in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes caught Isaiah Pacheco right on the hands in stride on a little wheel route out of the backfield. Pacheco was not able to hold on. Just a couple of plays later, Juju Smith-Schuster, who was just brought in during the preseason from the New England Patriots, got a ball right on the hands too, right on the 1-yard line. Wasn't able to hold on to that one either. That's been an issue in the past, most specifically with former Chiefs receiver Kadarius Toney, who is now elsewhere. That cannot become habit again for Kansas City if they want to be successful. Granted, their defense really bailed them out a lot last year. They need their receivers, especially with how young they are, to really step up this season and show that they can help carry this team to a 3rd straight championship. And then the last takeaway from this game, which is going to also bleed into the rest of the games for the rest of the season, is the NFL's new touchback rule. I was surprised to see them not utilize the touchback rule more. It appeared that 5 out of the first 6 kicks were deliberately kicked to the back of the end zone. The one that was returned got past the 30-yard line, which a touchback now goes out to the 30-yard line, and the 2 teams that we watched play last night didn't seem that it was worth the risk. Now, I don't want to see the kickoff eliminated from this game, so I don't know if there should be it should be messed with just yet. I mean, we obviously want to see how the rest of the year goes, but that was one thing that was a bit of a disappointment to me, was the lack of special teams in the game. Teams still, even with this new rule, choosing to kick the ball in the back of the end zone instead of try to get it in between the 1 and the 20 and get that return. It appeared to me that in the preseason, most returns were getting returned out to in between the 20 and 25. And I don't know if it's just different now because it's the regular season and you got more talent out there on the receiving end. But the 2 or 3 that were returned last night were getting past the 30. And this doesn't look like teams are finding it worth it to drop it inside the 0 and the 20. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. And also, one last takeaway from that game is that The NFL has told these referees to really call it tight when it comes to the new, or not new, I mean, illegal procedure has always been a rule, but they were calling it really tight last night, especially on Ronnie Stanley for the Baltimore Ravens. He was lined up in the backfield, I think, 2 or 3 times on the opening drive, and was even received a warning, so even could have been 4 times. So it's really going to see how that comes into play as Week 1 continues, to see how close these refs are going to call it. That was a bit, ticky-tack to me to call it that close, but the rest of the NFL teams have been warned that illegal procedure by left tackles and right tackles, if you're lining up to pass block, you do have to be lined up right next to the guard. They will not give you any leeway. All right, moving on to the ninth game, the one I'm obviously most excited about. In Brazil, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and here is the injury report going into the game. This could change as time progresses. So the big one for the Eagles, Isaiah Rodgers is out, starting quarterback. This means that we're probably going to see both rookie corners, first-rounder Quinyon Mitchell and second-rounder Cooper DeJean, get some playing time tonight. Look for Quinyon Mitchell probably to be moved over to starting corner, and Avonte Maddox is going to be moved up to nickelback. That would be my assumption. Or they'd have Quinyon Mitchell stay at that nickel spot and move, Kelly Ringo over to left cornerback. As far as the second rounder Cooper DeJean goes, based off some of the things that Vic Fangio has said in press conferences over the week, he does not seem to be ready yet, so don't look for him to get too many snaps. If he does, we'll hope he makes the best of his opportunity. Starting linebacker Devin White for the Eagles, he is also out. He did not travel with the team. Sometimes injured players will travel with the team, but since it's in Brazil, such a long flight, they decided to keep him home. Also been rumors that Nakobe Dean actually beat him out in the preseason for the starting spot, and he was also the Eagles are also looking to trade him possibly throughout the preseason as well. So we will keep an eye on the Devin White situation as time progresses. And then we'll move over to the Green Bay side. They have 3 players listed as questionable going into this game. Backup tight end Tucker Kraft is questionable with a back injury. Also questionable are 2 running backs, Marshawn Lloyd and Emmanuel Wilson. And the only player that has been ruled out for the Packers officially is defensive lineman Aaron Mosby, and that is for personal reasons. And that's all the information we have on that right now. As far as my predictions for tonight go, or my keys to victory for both teams, Eagles really have to get Saquon involved early. He's the newest addition to the team. Kellen Moore says he really wants to, release this new weapon onto the Packers defense. I really am interested to see how they can involve him into the offense, whether it's more on the running side or passes out of the backfield, or really both. So that's a big one there. Another big thing to watch for the Eagles, Cam Jurgens is replacing future Hall of Famer Jason Kelce. This is our first game without Jason Kelce in years. He's been the leader of that offense. Cam Jurgens has some big shoes to fill, so his position and how he plays tonight is going to be very important. As far as the Packers go, Jordan Love coming in, replacing Aaron Rodgers last year. He's looking to show that his rookie year was not a fluke. He could possibly have to play this game without Romeo Doubs, who's the second best receiver on the Packers behind Christian Watson. This should be a fun one. I'm expecting a very high-scored game. Both teams look pretty hot on offense. The Packers are also looking to show off their new shiny weapon in Josh Jacobs. So look for a really competitive football game tonight in Brazil. Kickoff is at 7:15 on Peacock, so make sure you get your subscriptions in on Peacock this afternoon. That's all the analysis I have for today, guys. Please like this video, hit the subscribe button for me. I love answering questions in the comment section. So enjoy week 1, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit more on Sunday. Have a good one. Thanks.